Hey guys, today we're going to talk about wedding planning and why it's important to your wedding day. Today in studio we have two of the best in the business coming right up.
Preview.
Meg and Gail, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah,
You're
thanks for
welcome.
having us.
Cool. So, Gail, I've known you for a long time. We've known each other, I think, since we did a magazine shoot, a styled magazine shoot back in maybe 2015, 2016. But
Right.
there's a couple things I don't know about you is how did you get started with wedding planning and now venue owner?
Oh yeah, well, I started out as doing interior design several years ago, like 15 years ago. And I had decided that I was going to set up for interior design at a bridal expo.
Okay.
Because I thought, once they get married, they're going to need some help with decorating a home. So I set up at a bridal expo that year, and nobody was interested in the interior design, but two people wanted me to do weddings.
Really?
And
Now, when was that? What year was that roughly?
that was probably around the same, probably a year before I met you, I would say. And so I set up there and instantly booked two weddings that day, and it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah. Do you think that was like, did people back then generally have wedding planners or have decorators, or they just kind of do it themselves, or you think maybe you kind of started a trend in this area?
Well, for the Beckley area, the Raleigh County area, there was no other wedding planners that I knew of.
Right.
Actually, I don't know of any now.
I don't know of any now.
Yeah, so I think I did hit a niche and a market for it.
Right.
And so now I do so many weddings, I don't really have time to do interior design.
Right. So
But I get to do design for weddings, which is great.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, I guess, I know there's a lot of reasons why somebody should have a wedding planner, for their wedding, from my perspective as a videographer, but take us down that road a little bit of why maybe it's helpful for a bride to have a wedding planner. Maybe talk about, maybe they're planning a wedding from out of state, or, maybe they just need help with decorating. Some people are not very creative.
Right.
So, talk a little bit about that.
Right. Well, there's all types of different reasons for a wedding planner. The most important is that if you have the right wedding planner, it's going to take so much stress off of the bride.
And the wedding day should be
no stress.
Stress-free completely.
Right, stress-free. And that's what we promote with Mia Bella Originals is you're not going to be working on your wedding day.
Right.
Your mom and dad's not going to be working. Your aunt and uncles are not going to be working. We're going to be doing the work. You're going to be enjoying what you've planned and put the money out on.
Right. I've seen that a lot of times where we'll go to a wedding and they won't have a planner or anybody kind of to help, and mom is helping.
Right.
And I'm trying to find mom because it's time to put on the bride's dress.
Right.
And mom's not dressed yet because she's been downstairs decorating, whatever. And so I always, if I have the opportunity, I always stress to my couples, my brides especially, look, if you can't afford a wedding planner or don't want a wedding planner, at least delegate somebody that knows what they're doing, but it can't be your mom, your sister, or anybody that's going to be in the wedding.
Right. So. That's what a lot of brides think they can do, is delegate somebody in the family or a friend to take that on. And what I've seen happen more than once with that is once that day comes, that particular family or friend, they either can't handle the stress or they don't want to deal with it because they want to be part of the party.
Right. Right.
And we're there to work.
That's
we're not there to be part of the party. And this is like second nature to us. We know, and there's so much leading up to the event that can go wrong, and that's part of what we do too, is we handle issues leading up to the event. Most of the time our bride and groom, they don't even know there's an issue, because we'll handle that issue.
Exactly.
If there's something that we can't handle, then we'll contact them.
Right.
But other than that, we don't.
Right. I know firsthand working with you many times that, like you will, when I send a contract to the bride and then you find out that, hey, they booked us, you'll immediately reach out to me and be like, hey, put me on that, on that portal.
Right.
And, so we can, I want to see the contract.
Right.
And it's not like you're being nosy, but it's, you need to see what we're offering,
Right.
so you know how to utilize our services for the bride.
Exactly.
And to make sure that where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Check on us, make sure that we're not sick or whatever.
Right.
There's a lot of reasons, and plus you have to give us timelines and all
Right.
that. So. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that
Oh, yeah.
brides and grooms don't see.
Oh, a tremendous amount. And you have to have a chief.
Yeah.
There has to be
Exactly.
one chief. And the wedding planner should be that person.
Right.
And then everything kind of trickles down from there.
Right.
And if you can't do a wedding planner, at least have a coordinator.
A day of, and you do that too?
We don't do day of necessarily. We do what I call month of. And
okay.
that way, because you really can't come in just the day of and know what's going on.
Sure,
So
right.
30
Fair
days out from an event is when we start getting their, this is if they have not hired us to do wedding planning.
Right.
If they're just hiring us for month of, day of, 30 days out, we get their vendor information.
Mm-hmm.
We contact all the vendors, let them know that we're on board.
Right.
We ask them to contact us with any issues, questions, anything like that. That way, 30 days before the event, the bride and groom is not bothered with that.
Right.
If we can't answer something, or if there is an issue and we have to contact the bride and groom, it's just one person contacting them as opposed to several different vendors
Right.
contacting them.
Right.
So, and then we do a rehearsal with them, and then the day of we show up and coordinate everything and make sure everything's in place and handle any issues and things
Wow.
like that.
So when you take on a new client, if they want you to plan a wedding, full-blown plan, decorate, and all that, that you do like a design sheet, or you do something. What is that called?
Well, I do a professional design plan.
Okay.
Is what it is, and what I'll do is I'll have them. We'll have a meeting. We'll talk about what their vision is for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Most brides have Pinterest pictures.
Right, Pinterest.
They'll
yeah.
share pictures with me, and once I have enough that I tell them I'm in their head,
Right.
then I will start pulling in my design on paper.
Right.
And that's where the interior design part, I get to, I still get to be a designer doing
Right.
weddings.
Yeah, you still got to do what you love to do.
Yeah, because a lot of brides, they know what colors they like, or they kind of have an idea of what they like, but they don't really know how to make it all complement and come together.
Right, absolutely.
So that's where I'll do that for them, and my design plans are anywhere from 10 pages to 25 pages long, depending on,
Which takes a lot of
wedding.
stress off of a bride trying to find this stuff.
Oh yeah.
If they're trying to find, I mean, like me personally, if I was ever to go look for flowers, I would call you, but I wouldn't know where to start.
Right.
So
right.
I always try to, utilize the resources that's around me to help me do whatever it is I need to
Right.
do.
Right.
And so, that makes perfect sense to use a planner that knows how to decorate, knows, what flowers to use,
Right.
knows how to, set up an arch.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything. The
Yeah.
guest book, things as simple as the guest book,
Right.
just so much stuff that goes into it. And a bride is so stressed out anyway. If she's got to
Right.
work, she's probably still working.
Right.
Maybe she's still in school. I know
Right.
we do a lot of weddings for med school,
Right.
students, and they're trying to finish up schooling, whatever, and before they graduate, and they're planning this wedding too, and they
Right.
can't really plan it at the same time.
Right. Yeah, because like you said, most brides nowadays are either in school or working or both while they're trying to plan a wedding.
Right. It's almost
And
impossible.
it's just overwhelming because most of them, it's their first wedding.
Right.
They don't know where to start.
Yeah,
And
fair
I have a process, and a lot of brides will come to me and they're completely backwards on it. They think we're supposed to start here. I'm like, no, we got to back up. We got to start where you got to start. And I lead them through that whole thing, and I tell them that I basically hold their hand through
Right.
the whole process.
Well, things about you know what they need, and they don't even know they need it
Right.
until you kind of
Or
let
they
them
haven't even
realize.
thought about it.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's just they've never done it before. So
Right.
how many weddings have you done, you think?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, the list is.
Yeah.
I was on the computer the other day in a bridal meeting, and I was going in to pull up a particular file from a bride, and I was scrolling, trying to get to that.
Trying to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
that's good.
lot.
Yeah,
A
since
lot.
2015, or since 2013 or so. you've
Yeah,
been
and
doing that,
we do weddings at other venues, and we do weddings out of state. You know,
Right.
we travel, so there's been a lot.
Cool. What's
Yeah.
the furthest you've traveled for a wedding?
Um,
I know you was just at the Biltmore.
at the Biltmore,
Is that the,
yeah.
that one of the that's a milestone, in my opinion, to
Yeah.
be able to put a wedding together at
Yeah.
the Biltmore. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So so now wedding planning, somebody might want you for a wedding planner, but what
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's looking for a wedding venue? And you have a wedding venue that you started when?
In 2018 is
Okay.
when we did the first wedding. I happened to come across some property by accident, actually, and as soon as I saw it, I thought this would be perfect for a
Yeah.
wedding venue. It was not a wedding venue.
Right.
So it took me about a year and a half to get it,
Yeah.
to buy it. And it's an 80-acre estate in White Oak.
Cool.
And
And White Oak, West Virginia is near Shady Spring, West Virginia, which is outside of Beckley, West Virginia,
Right.
if anybody doesn't know.
about 15-20 minutes outside of Beckley.
Yeah, so plenty of like hotels and so forth all around. And,
There are,
and-
there's lots of different options for accommodations.
Right.
At my venue, obviously, we can sleep 14 between the main house and the groom's quarters.
Okay.
And then I also have a 2-bedroom cottage on the property
Right,
that
you have
sleeps
that-
5.
Right, yeah.
So about 19.
That's good. So
Yeah.
the full bridal party can stay.
Oh,
Both
yeah.
sides can stay there.
Yeah,
Has
they
many
usually
people
do.
utilize that for? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's good. So your venue is it's not a barn. We see
No.
a lot of barns in West Virginia. We filmed a lot at Mia Bella Grand, Mia Bella Originals, Mia Bella Grand is what
Right.
the venue's called.
Right.
And it's a great name, but it's very different from most
Yeah.
venues that we see in West Virginia. So tell me a
Right.
little bit about the styling I
Of the
guess.
venue?
Yes.
Well, like I said, it's an 80-acre estate. It is it feels like you're in a different world when you're there,
I
because you don't hear traffic, you don't see traffic, you don't see other buildings. It's a huge colonial house.
Colonial, yeah.
There is a big, huge red barn on the property, but I have horses,
Right.
and the
Horses and they've been in our films, and
Yeah,
I know
they-
brides and grooms like to go check them out.
They love that and take their pictures with them. And we put a bucket of apples out for guests to feed the horses
Yeah, that's
during
cool.
the weddings. And
And the house, the main focal point is the house.
Yeah.
And it's the colonial house, right? So and it does have 2 or 3 big columns in the front, right?
4.
Big columns, okay.
4 columns.
And so, which is really nice because they extend maybe 20, 30 feet
Oh,
high?
yeah. They're, I would say, at least 20 or more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives it a different look. And,
With
it's
the
enclosed,
pond.
and then the pond in the front.
Yeah.
And we're gonna in this video we'll have a link where you can watch a couple videos from Mia Bella Grand,
Yeah.
and so you can kind of see what we're talking about. But
Right.
just trying to give a verbal description of
Right.
it. So brides and grooms, or the grooms have their own quarters they can stay at.
Right.
The brides can stay in the house and
Right.
get ready in the house, and
Right.
it is one of the best bridal suites I've seen.
Thank you.
And last year we filmed, and that's no kidding, because last year we filmed at 146 different venues
Wow.
throughout eastern United States, and and that venue, your bridal suite is one of the best.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
that's,
I
because
appreciate
you have
it.
to have room, it has to be pretty, and it
Yeah.
has to have places that is not going to be cluttered up with
Right.
all the girls' stuff. you know.
Right. Well, and that bridal suite is over 600 square feet.
Right.
Just the bedroom and the bathroom, and
Right.
then there's the separate makeup
Right.
space,
That's what yeah.
and then 2 guest rooms and another bathroom that they have access to all of that.
It makes my day easier because we can come in and we don't have to worry about clutter. We don't have to worry
Yeah.
about moving stuff 4 or 5
Right.
times.
Well, and that's what we do too.
Yeah.
One of the services that we provide is, if they're spending the night Friday night, is we do a turn down service.
Uh-huh.
And so we turn down all the beds. Then the next day, that morning, we go and we put everything back the way it was, so it's ready for pictures.
That's awesome.
Brides don't have to do anything.
That's cool.
At Mia Bella Grand.
Just like being at a spa, I guess.
Yes, yeah, because we definitely pamper and take care of everybody, and
Right.
we want them to feel it's my home. I live there. I keep a certain section of it private to myself, but I want people to feel at home
Right.
when they're there.
Absolutely. And you've always made us feel at home as a vendor, and we greatly appreciate that. And other vendors I know speak very highly of you guys, and you put on a great event every time we come to them.
Thank
and
you.
So that's really nice to have. But the reception part of it is in the back of the house,
Right.
and so you have a huge concrete pad.
Right.
And you have a tent set up, not year round, but seasonally, right?
Right.
And plenty of room for reception.
Oh yeah, it's 3,300 square feet.
Okay.
Part of that is covered, and then part of it's the tent. We do a 40 by 60 tent, and then brides usually use the front between the house and the pond for the ceremony.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah. That's really one of
yeah.
the best spots. Can they have you done a wedding anywhere else or ceremony anywhere else on the property besides the? I don't know that
We've done them on the front terrace.
Okay. Looking at the house, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a few small ones where they use the front terrace.
Okay.
And then what we have in the plans for the future is over to the left of where the ceremony takes place now is a wooded
You have
area.
some big trees.
Yes,
there, right?
huge. There's huge. I think they're Douglas firs that
okay.
completely line the long driveway and all that. So I'm wanting to set that up as a ceremony site.
I know, like your venue's set up too perfectly for if you can imagine this, you have the pond, the guests are looking at the pond, the arches look in front of the pond,
Right.
and then you have the driveway, which is really long. Like you said, it's way back. Nobody can see or hear from the road.
Right.
So there's a driveway that comes in from behind the pond, a good distance across the field, and it kind of wraps around and has a circle driveway that drops
Right.
people off. So it's like the perfect setup for a horse and buggy, or
Right.
a carriage, or an
Vintage
antique
car.
And I know y'all done it because I've
Yes,
filmed it.
we have.
And so that's and it's so cool because the guests can watch that,
Right.
and watch all that happen,
Right.
and then then the bride gets out, and it's just
Right.
adds to the film, make the film look so much better. The photos, and then just the whole overall experience for the guest.
Right. It adds a lot of extra interest.
Right.
There.
More value.
And we do, although I love doing weddings at our place the most because we can take care of you the best at Mia Bella Grand because all of our rentals are there and all that. But even when we work at other venues, that's one of the things that I'm very detail oriented.
Right.
And I always meet with the bride at the venue, wherever she's getting married, and I check out and see how everything's set up and how it all works.
Right.
Because to me, it's it's kind of like you're organizing a production.
You are.
It's an event, but it's a production.
It is.
And there's all these different variables that go into
And
it.
every venue has strengths and weaknesses.
Right,
and-
exactly.
and
And I
different,
look for that.
Right.
And I see what their staff's going to do, what they can do, what they cannot do,
Right.
what we're going to need to make up for or relax,
Yeah.
because we know the staff's going to take care of that part of it.
Yeah.
So that's what you need in a wedding planning team is you need somebody that really knows how to make all that work together, wherever the wedding
Well,
is.
And you said team, and you do have a lot of people. You have a lot of staff that works for
do.
you on a wedding day, whether it's at your venue or elsewhere. So talk a little bit about your girls and guys.
Okay, I have a great team. The Lord has blessed me with a great team. This is one of my team members, also my baby Megan, my daughter. Megan,
Which is also the social media expert.
she's our and I called her social media manager, and it's content manager, I guess is what it
Whatever
is.
yeah.
But she's wonderful at that. All my team have regular jobs.
Right.
They don't necessarily work for me because they have to. They do because they want to.
They're passionate about it. and
They love
seeing-
it.
Right.
Yes, and that makes all the difference.
It does.
And but part of what Megan does is now that we're promoting this year and a little bit last year is she does photographs and video during each event,
Right.
starting Friday with rehearsal through Saturday, and she posts that regularly throughout the day.
Just
That
to kind of help build content.
it helps
for
build,
Right.
yes, and create a buzz for that wedding.
Yes.
Brides and grooms like that because they don't necessarily have to wait to
Right.
get the professional,
Right.
because there's professional photographer, videographer.
Yeah.
But they get to see a little bit of it,
Ahead of
you
time.
know,
Yeah.
because they're all excited about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
and people like to see the behind the scenes
Yeah.
because I've been there
Yes.
before, and I forgot which bride it was. It's been a couple years, and she was in the bridal suite. And I don't know if you know this, but she got emotional because she would look out the front and she'd seen everybody. I think she was watching Barb and James put together flowers in the front,
Yeah.
and then she would go to the back and look out the back and see everybody getting things prepared
For the
before
reception.
the reception.
Yeah.
And she was getting emotional because she knew she had to do nothing.
Right,
And
Yeah.
it was-
right.
And I wish I remember who that was.
Yeah.
But I know you
Well, I've
love to
had
know.
several brides tell me that, and
Yeah.
that's the great thing about the bridal suite at Mia Bella Grand is that there's windows all around, so a bride is not tucked in a corner where she doesn't see what's going on.
Right.
She
She
can
can-
look out any side of the room
Right, yeah.
and see what's going on throughout the day, so she feels like she's included
Right.
in that, but she's not having to do the work.
Right, yeah.
So, and
She
we
feels like a queen that day.
yeah,
like she should be, right?
yes, she does, and but I've got several on the team. We're up to 8 on the team right now that are regulars, and then I have others that will come in and help with parking and things like that.
Like your dad.
Yeah, like my dad, and
He's a
everybody
legend
loves
out there.
Dad. You know, I tell him don't tip him because that encourages him to ask for tips.
That's funny.
But I'm going to be bringing on a couple more to the team, and we've got a very good rapport with each other, and everybody has the same goal in mind, and that's to make this wedding the best
You guys
it
went
can
around
be.
and you look like CIA agents. I mean, and so we started using, a couple of us started using radios too,
Yeah.
and sort of inspired by y'all because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, this has got to work.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you guys walk around and they're on, and I know because you're talking to each
Oh
other.
yeah, yeah.
you know,
We're
all over the
we're all
place.
headsetted no matter where we're working, and that way we can take care of whatever. And
Right.
that's the thing that is so great about it too is it doesn't matter how big that event is or small. We are on top of things, and we're spread all around,
Yeah.
you know, the property, and so everybody is watching what's going on. And if there's an issue, you know,
Yeah,
We're
somebody
on
can
it.
handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, and then keep it quiet so that the bride and the groom and everybody else thinks, oh,
Right.
there's no issue, you know,
Right.
because there's always something that comes up. You
Wedding
know.
days it's a fluid situation.
Yeah.
Stuff changes, weather changes.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's just so many things that can happen during
Yeah.
a wedding
Yeah.
that you guys can be the buffer zone before the bride and the groom has to know about it.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
you know, and I can't think of any. I can't. Usually, you go to a wedding. You know, there's always something that's happened, but I honestly can't think of anything that's ever happened at one of your all's weddings productions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
And you
yeah.
guys, towards the end, it's not all fun. It's not all serious business. You guys like to have fun because
Oh, yeah.
you're on the dance floor.
Oh yeah,
Both of you.
yeah. We play music as soon as we have our briefing at 9 o'clock in the morning is usually when we have it, and I give everybody their job descriptions of what they're doing for the day. We turn the music on,
Yeah.
and we're working all day long. And
Uh,
I mean, what do you think, Megan? Am I hard to work for?
No.
As long as everybody's doing what's on their list, you
Yeah.
know.
That's right. Yeah, and your team is phenomenal, and everybody's so always. And we felt like we're coming home every time we go to your venue,
Yeah.
and all. I mean, there's some people I don't know yet on your team, but all the ones that I know you've had for years,
Mm-hmm.
they always, you know, just treat us, you know, perfect
Yes.
and help us
Yeah.
out any way they can.
Yeah.
And but you know, thinking about turning the music on and all that, I remember coming to a couple weddings, and you'll have your hair up in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so-
A Walmart bag.
Hey,
A
listen,
Walmart bag.
listen, there is no vanity here. And my goal and their goal is to get the job done the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And if it's raining, you do not want to see my hair without the bag on it because it's crazy. And so, yeah, I'll put a plastic bag over it and we just keep on working.
That's right.
You know, it's not about us. It's about the bride and groom and,
Right.
and the family and the friends.
That's right. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Well, gosh, is there anything else you want to talk about as far as planning goes or about the venue? I mean, is there
well,
anything-
one thing that we're doing now, we started last year, and we'll be doing it, I guess, as long as we feel like doing it, is we do silk flower arrangements now.
Oh, okay.
We can provide that.
like separate from a wedding or just like for a wedding?
Well, for weddings, for
Okay.
events,
Yeah,
because
okay.
we do a lot of other types of events too, baby showers and bridal showers and birthday parties and things like that. We're doing a little bit of work with balloons now.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot because we have somebody that we
Yeah.
use a lot and that's real good at that. But
And you have a very good reputation with many, many vendors, so you know,
We
lots
do.
of different vendors, no matter if they're looking
Right.
for photo, video, flowers, caterers.
We've done butterfly releases. We've
cool.
done just about, all kinds of things. And that's the thing is we treat other vendors as part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a wedding with us, it's not a big I, little you.
Yeah.
You're part of the team.
Right.
It takes all of us to get that job done.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yes, and we're very respectful of what the other vendor's job is.
Right.
So we make sure we don't get in their way so that they can do their job.
We had a wedding recently, and I talked about this before in one of my other podcasts, but Sam shot a wedding in Virginia, and it bothered me and him both because the wedding planner gave us a timeline, everything was great, and he gave it to us, but then the photographer came in, and he didn't want to be a team player,
Oh,
so he had his own timeline. So it just made everything
Yeah.
total chaos.
yeah,
So-
it will, and
And I could just imagine, Sam and I was talking about that, like, if that had been Gail and that photographer come in.
oh no, I would have nipped that right in
you'd
the
have stopped
bud.
that instantly.
I'd be
That's
like,
what we needed that day.
you're, you can't, because the ultimate thing is it's got to be the way it's going to be best for the bride and groom for
Right.
the event.
Exactly.
And everybody has to that's why I do a master timeline.
Right.
But I'll check with you or
Yeah.
I'll check with the photographer, see what you guys need for what you're doing,
Right.
incorporate that
Make it
in.
all work, yeah, make it
Yeah,
all
and
mesh
but
together.
then everybody goes by that timeline. And I'm not a mean person or anything, but I can
Never seen her
take
name,
charge
but
when I have to.
Well, besides being her daughter.
Right, yeah,
so-
no.
so-
Yeah.
She knows how to handle it so that it's not inappropriate or too
Yeah.
too hateful or
professional.
yeah.
There's ways to.
You
you walk softly but carry a big stick.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing,
that's the kind of thing, and it's nothing personal towards anybody. It's just we have to make this wedding the way what it's supposed to be,
Exactly.
and that's the thing. And you can't give up. And I've seen other people in the profession that when the going gets tough or there's an issue, they want to give up and withdraw.
Right.
You don't. That's when you've got to push through
Right.
and you've got to come out on the other end
Right.
with it being spectacular.
Exactly.
So, and doesn't matter what you are dealing with, you have to make it what it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where a good team comes in too, because I know they've got my back.
I can't. I mean, there's not very many venues that we go to, and we see that many people on a team. Like that belong to the venue. I mean, we shoot at many great venues,
Right.
but like I just don't know if I've ever went anywhere and seen 8 people. Maybe I
Right.
don't see them. Maybe they're more behind the scenes. I don't know. But like when I go to your events, I feel like I know everybody. I see everybody.
Yeah.
I come inside and eat with you guys.
Right, right.
So maybe that's all that it is, but it's definitely a different experience. You're definitely not trying to save money.
No.
You're spending a lot
No.
of money on having these people.
Right, and that's where when I price packages and things, I have to take all that into consideration, and that's one thing that we've talked about is it's hard to show that part of us to brides
Right.
because
true.
They
The value
don't
of
they
it.
don't see that until they book us and then they experience it.
Experience
You
it,
can't
yeah.
see it, in advance. You have to experience it.
Right.
And they think, well, we can book this venue, and they say they're going to do this, and they don't always do what they think they're going to do.
I've shot at venues where you would think that it'd be a perfect day, and what I'm talking about, well-known places, and you just is that a bride? She's already calling.
No, that's probably
If that
Dad.
was you, she'll go right back to you.
Yeah.
But they just can't handle like
Right.
this, any kind of problems or
Right.
any kind of issues that might come up. They just don't have the staff
Right.
to handle any kind of situations, whether it's a rainy rains or maybe somebody's dress is coming off.
Right.
Maybe they broke a button or a
Right.
zipper has broken or whatever.
Right.
You guys are there to do that.
Oh, we had a wedding at a well-known resort a few years ago, and it was a Gatsby thing.
Oh yeah, cool.
And the groom's mom had traveled in for over an hour away, and when she got there, she realized she forgot her headpiece,
Oh, yeah.
which was a feather, Gatsby
the
headpiece.
Gatsby style.
And she was stressing, and she came over to me, and I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I forgot my headpiece. It's too far to go." I said, "I'll make you one." She
Oh,
said,
that's cool.
"How are you going to make me
Whipped
one?"
out her hot glue gun.
I
Glue
said,
gun.
because
Yeah.
I brought supplies. This is a
material,
Gatsby theme.
Yep.
I come prepared. We travel with a toolbox, And so I pulled out feathers and pulled out all this stuff and made her a headband right there. And
That's cool.
she couldn't believe it, And that's the type of personal service that we get,
Right.
that we give to
Right,
brides
right.
and grooms.
If I remember correctly, I think that style shoot that we did, wasn't that Gatsby in Hinton?
Well, kind of,
Yeah.
yes.
It sort of
yes,
was, wasn't it?
yes.
So,
Sure was.
Okay, well,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Awesome. I'll have to try to find that video. I don't know. That was one of my first ones. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
probably be embarrassed to watch it
I think
now.
that's when we met, when
That
we
is
first met.
Yeah, it is when we met. So you was doing a magazine style shoot, and
Right.
and I was doing behind the scenes for that.
Right.
And then we had Kelly Carrico, I think, as photographer.
Right.
Brittany Bailey was doing behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So and we've been shooting weddings and doing weddings ever
Yeah.
since.
Yeah. Feel like family.
Right.
So
yeah.
we
Absolutely.
just hit it off right away.
That's, yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. So
Yeah.
I never knew where that would take me, and
Right.
that helped. That started my passion, I guess, for wedding
Right.
films. And I was working another job at the time, but then
Right.
here I am now. That's all I do.
Right.
This is full time for me. So
Oh, yeah.
it's been a good rewarding career.
Right.
So.
You're where you should be.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. I really appreciate these two coming in.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put some videos in the description below and also around here, and you'll be able to see some of the videos from their venue. I'll also have your information in the description below, how to get a hold of Gail, but I will let her tell you how to get a hold of you guys. How
Well,
you get a hold of her.
anybody that's interested in speaking with us to get information, you're welcome to call me anytime, obviously. I always have my phone with me, 304-923-4339. Or you can email us at info@miabellaoriginalswv.com. The business is Mia Bella Originals, and then we have the venue, Mia Bella Grand. So we're getting ready to redo our website and combine everything into one website. But just give us a call. I'll be glad to talk to you.
All right.